1 second. Okay. Uh, I'm not going to put pictures up for this one because I don't know what the fuck to put pictures up of. We'll talk about parents. I'm just going to go for 20 or 30 minutes on my feelings on parents. So, my issues with my parents are basically that my mom and dad didn't really love each other and that they were both crazy people that could barely stand to be around themselves, much less another person, for any length of time. And this meant that their relationship was doomed from the start. And basically, because of that, they raised me in about the worst way possible. And it gave me a shit ton of mental issues. And now I'm going to talk about what some of those are. Sorry, I'm getting resituated here. Where to start? My dad. He pops in and out of my life every 10 years or so just to fuck it up. He like pretends like he wants to have a relationship, but he really doesn't. And then there's my mom, who basically she's like an angel in some ways, but in other ways, she's fucked up in the head and gaslights you. Gaslighting, for those who are unfamiliar with the term, is where you alter history and then force that altered history upon others, basically. So, like, if she and I went to lunch and I had toast and she had pancakes, she would insist that we both had pancakes because that's the way it was in her mind. And that's the way that it has to be in order for her world to stay the way it is, basically. And she doesn't even know that it didn't happen the way that she remembered it. She's defending her position as though she is right, because in her mind, she is right. But, like, in reality, she's right about 40% of the time these days. Used to be about 70% of the time. And, like, that was easier to live with. 40% of the time gets pretty damn rough. My mother does not realize that I am the person who is talking to you now. Let that sink in. The version of me that my mother is aware of is a character that I built for her to like when I was like 2 or 3 years old, because I got tired of being in trouble. Yeah. This is what happens when you have a kid that's smarter than you and you fucking crack down on him on shit that you shouldn't. Okay? I had to be perfect. I had to be, the perfect little Christian Republican child. And it drove me mad. Like, I wasn't allowed to be a little boy. I wasn't allowed to go do the things that I wanted to do because, oh, that might be dangerous. Oh, that might be whatever. Well, I hope my mom's happy because she raised a child that, because she wouldn't let him have a skateboard and do, anything fun ever. I've been shot. I've been in gunfights in Mexico. I've been all over the place doing all sorts of fucking things. I have licked other people's assholes. I've had unprotected sex. And, like, it's not, oh, mother, I'm doing this because of you. No, it's not like that at all. It's fuck you. Fuck you that you think you had the right to tell me how to live. Fuck you that you think something is risky or not risky. This is my problem with the government. Like my problem with my parents, my problem with the government walk hand in hand. My parents didn't know dick about raising kids. I'm fucking 30 something now. I'm 32 as of, in a couple weeks. And I barely have a grasp on how I would raise a kid now. Having a kid when you're fucking 19 or 21 is fucking insane. And like this is what's wrong with the world right now. Like we have children having children and then raising those children without any of them ever getting to be fucking adults. Like back in the day, you know, people might have started a family young, but like, you know, they still kept growing. They kept evolving. Like they might have fucked up their first couple kids, but the last couple they got right. And in our effort to fix the first couple kids, we have fucked everyone. It's my opinion that no one has a mental disorder. No one is actually crazy. You just can't follow their logic anymore because of the shit that was done to them. Now, it does make it difficult to make that statement when a dude is naked and eating cardboard boxes outside of 7-Eleven. But, I don't know what his mother did to him. And, like, this isn't saying, oh, my parents are all to blame or whatever. No. The things that my parents are to blame for happened before I was fucking 3 years old. And they affected me my entire life. My mother, in what she did before I was 3 years old, made it to where the only way that I could be me and be happy was to hide myself so goddamn deep and dark that it took me 30 years to get out of it. It took going and doing crazy shit to find shit out about yourself. It took, seeing places no. It took doing drugs that no one had ever done before. It took fighting. It took fucking. It took loving, and it took passion. And like this is the thing that like I can't almost even deal with my mother today because she still thinks that I'm the person that I built for her when I was 3. And she's still like, why won't you come back? I don't understand. I tried to apologize for having killed her son, but she doesn't get that her son was a character. And like the thing that's wrong with me is that I'm a gifted actor. I'm a gifted lots of things. I'm a talented undercover agent if you want to employ me. Corporate espionage, fucking real espionage. I'm game for anything, really. Like that, and that's one of the ways that I made money over the years was being game for anything. And you tend to get that way when you don't want to live. And that's the thing with like the transgender issue that a lot of people who watch this that are, conservative, whatever, like you don't understand. Like you don't understand what it's like to not want to live. It makes you go and do real shit. It makes you fucking not be one of these scared little people living in their fucking living rooms or whatever. Yeah. And the funny part is, like, most of the craziest shit I've ever done was in my living room. I'm not gonna go into details on that, but man, I've done some crazy fucking shit in my living room. Thinking of one thing in particular. uh, I don't know. Like, I don't think your parents are really to blame. I don't think my parents are really to blame. And like, this is the thing that if I could talk to my mom, that I would tell my mom. It's that I forgive her and that I love her and that I just want her to stop treating me like shit. And it's because I think people treat in situations like this, people treat you like shit because it makes them feel better, basically. They don't want to see you, and if they drive you away, then they don't have to see you anymore because they feel that like what they did to you is wrong. People keep telling me that I need to go to therapy to discuss these issues. I put it to you that this little 10-minute talk here on my parents is better information than you would get from any fucking therapist. My issue with going and talking to therapists is basically that they're fucking useless. They're a bunch of mealy-mouthed, wishy-washy people who want to use tricks of the mind to get you to not care about the things that you should care about. They are very much in the put it in the past camp. I'm very much in the deal with it camp. And dealing with it means talking about it. It means actually facing your fucking problems. And then they actually go away. You know, if you don't try to mask it with drugs and lies and hiding and whatever, your problems go away. These are the things that your parents probably never taught you. These are the things that our society doesn't teach you. You don't fucking deal with a bully by ignoring him. You deal with a bully by grabbing him by the throat and rabbit punching him until he can't get up again. And then standing over his wheezing corpse and telling him, okay, now, when they ask you how this happened, what are you going to say? And then you're listening to hear him wheeze back that he got hit by a truck. Okay? That's how you should be in life. You should be the fucking truck, I guess. Like, and if your parents are holding you back from being that truck because they're still children, then break away from them. Fucking tell your mom goodbye, load the car, and fucking run away to Arizona or some shit and live in the desert and smoke crystal meth. If that's what it takes for you to be you, do it. I would not advise this crystal meth part. That's a bad idea. There's a whole bunch of things that are bad ideas. And like, this is the dangerous part about being this way. And this is the thing that, like, I hope to make videos more about this because I know YouTube is full of young people. And it's full of young people that are ignored. And I don't know. You are the future, believe it or not. You're the smart people who've been ignored, who are having to figure this out for themselves, who are actually probably going to go on to lead productive and fruitful lives that produce smart children later on in life. And I kind of view me talking to you here now about this and about parenting as being one of the most important things that I could possibly ever do. You should definitely pay attention to your children, and you should definitely let your children actually be them. And like, this goes wrong. I've seen this go wrong. You can't do this all the time. You do have to like correct some things and, you know, keep, yeah, they're gonna have to wear clothes, they're gonna have to go to school, yada yada yada. But like, for example, I had a pair of blue sunglasses that I liked when I was two or three, somewhere in there, and my grandfather took them from me and told me that they were cocksucker glasses, broke them and threw them in the trash. There's 100 stories like that for that one. There's 1,000 stories like that for that one, and they're not all my grandpa. There's like a million things growing up that I just got signs that I was not welcome. And like, no one fucking even thinks about the effect that that has on a kid. Like, what if your kid isn't Mr. Right wing Christian conservative, whatever? Like, you don't know who you're raising. And I think this is a lot of the arguments of the left, basically, is they had parents like this. So they see everything as this. And they're like, "Meh." And like, that's a stupid way to be. And like, that's my thing with this whole parent thing, even, is I'm not blaming them. I'm understanding. And like I'm angry for sure. And like if you gaslight me to my face today, yeah, bitch, it's on. Okay? Short of that, I hold no ill will towards you. There's a set of rules. You play by the rules. The rules are you don't change fucking history. The rules are that you don't talk shit about people behind their backs. You don't act like some sort of raging fucking psycho going from loving me to hating me every other day based on, you know, I don't know, your own fucking mental issues. Like, I think my mother had serious mental issues that were basically caused by her father being an alcoholic. And like, I feel bad about that, but I can't forgive some of the things that happened just because you had a fucked up thing too. Some of it, yeah, I'll 100% be like, yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But some of it is just, then why did you keep bringing him around when I was growing up? Why did you keep him in my life? Why did you make me love him? Like, there's so much about my relationship with my grandfather that I'm glad I had him in my life. But there's a lot of it that I question my mother's sanity. I don't know. I think I'm glad that she had my grandfather in my life. I'm glad that I am this way. Most people do not get to be as free as I am. I've been in several situations here lately where I was back in society. That's how I would put it. I was at my cousin's house after his mother's funeral, and it was like this perfect little home in the suburbs with pictures of his ugly ass wife on the walls. And I don't know, it was creepy. And I was at this family reunion, and I was at a aunt of mine's house, and it was the exact same way, and it was creepy too. And I think the reason that places like that are creepy to me is because that's not a real home. That's like a show home. They have a whole, bunch of shit just to show off to people while they come over to their house. Why are you doing this? It's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses bullshit and a lot of shit that like I don't know. I thought we were past. I think this is the thing is that basically every generation is actual, or at least maybe not every generation, every few generations there's a generation raised by their grandparents, and we've had a couple of those in a row. And the last one produced a generation of kids that, they grew up in the 80s, their grandparents fought in World War II. They brought us the successes of the 90s and 2000s, more or less. Like we could go into a lot of shit about that, why they weren't really successes. And basically, in their vain effort to, be as good as grandpa, they basically fucked our whole country up. But that's a debate as to whether or not that's our society or someone doing that. So, I tend to believe anymore that it's just our society because I see, my own family in Rick and Morty, and I see Rick and Morty in every family. And I think that's why Rick and Morty is so popular amongst the young people, is because basically that cartoon show is just showing you how fucked up your family really is. Basically, I was Morty. And my grandfather was Rick. And my mom was Space Beth. So what you're looking at for me is what happens when Space Beth has a fucking daughter, I guess, or Space Beth has a son, really, and then they transition. So I'm like some mix of Morty and Summer from Space Beth. And that's the shit that like I don't know how to deal with that. And it's really hard to see much of a positive future to anything when your mom was Space Beth, because she went and conquered the known galaxy and wasn't happy, wasn't satisfied, continues to be a miserable piece of shit to this day. Where do you go when there are no worlds left to conquer? I always think of King Osric in Conan. He's talking to Conan. He says something to the effect of, "Thief, in time you'll find that the gold loses its glimmer, the jewels cease to sparkle, that all that's left is an empty hall and a man's love for his daughter." Something to that effect. And like this is some of the shit that in John Milius's movies in particular that I feel that I got more being raised by fucking John Milius than I did by my own goddamn parents. I think in reality, a lot of us are raised by Hollywood in a way, and that's why the Democrats have already won. That's why whoever is doing this conspiracy has already won. I canceled Disney Plus a while back. I haven't watched Kenobi yet. I don't know if I will. Um, and it makes me sad that I can't even participate in my culture. And I basically view the downfall of society as being mostly the fault of the parents of America. If you just bothered to pay attention to your children and actually raise them to know right from wrong and raise them to care about freedom and to know how things work and not just be instant gratification and want your cup of fucking shit. You know, I don't care how the soft serve ice cream machine works. I just want my cup of ice cream. Well, that's a good way to have the whole world end. A soft serve ice cream machine is a very complex thing that has a bunch of internal moving parts that you put cream in and it cools it, whips it, and keeps it at a consistency and shoots it out of a thing. Like, I could probably build you one of those. And the issue is not that I'm special, but that 60, 70 years ago, most men could have built you one of those. It might have taken some longer than others. But, like, you know how many people used to, like, build shit in their garage? And now everyone would rather get high and watch TV. And don't get me wrong, I like a good TV show, and I like getting high. In fact, getting baked and watching Ancient Aliens is one of my favorite things to do. Mainly because I like watching Giorgio Tsoukalos say that everything is aliens. Literally, you know, if you ask the Ancient Aliens experts from the History Channel, most things are actually space aliens. And I feel like that's, how kids are raised today. Like, whatever your thing is, that's the thing you focus on. And if it's fucking space aliens, it's space aliens. And if it's knife making, it's knife making. And none of these worlds ever cross over enough for Giorgio Tsoukalos to see how ridiculous he is. And myself included in that, I'm a trans woman that makes knives and talks about the end of the world and goes camping. But, I kind of think at this point, I am a perfect mockery of the masculinity of America. I guess. I don't know. I'm me. I like being me and I like doing all the things I do. And some of those things mean that I'm a girl. And I'm okay with that. I'm sorry that some of you aren't. I'm really sorry that my parents aren't. I just wish they could understand that my biggest regret in life was ever pretending to be a boy. Thanks for watching.